Hi, my name is Justin Dodge. You're locked in on the journey. Got a little catching up to do today. When I started this, had a vision of what I wanted everything to look like, and my vision quickly changed on it. And I've taken the time in between here to get really clear and really have this set up the way I want it to be. That said, I have still been putting in the work. I've still been running. And one shift I'm making is that it's going to be a once-a-week video. I'm going to check in on my long run. So today I've got hopefully an hour and 45-minute run. Been increasing it each week. First one made it just over 6.5 miles, and I made it over 7.5 miles the second one. Hopefully I can hit 9 today. But what I want to make sure that we're doing here is that we're locking in on actionable steps for each of us. So as I'm putting this into my ultra running, I want to make sure that there are steps that you can do as well. So I'm implementing it, you're implementing it, and we're presenting it in a way that each week builds upon itself, so that way we're building towards our peak performance. And make sure that we're really tapping into our highest level, whether that be for an athletic event, for work, for relationships, whatever it might be. I believe performance goes into that. So first place I want to start is really getting clear on your identity. This is something that can lift us up, and it's something that can hold us back. For example, I haven't really been saying I'm an ultra runner even, because I don't want to identify myself necessarily as that, because who am I to say I'm an ultra runner, right? But we need to get clear on that identity. Who are we? Who do we want to be? And with the who we want to be, that comes to our I am statements. So like maybe I'm a top 3 finisher at Western States, something like that. I'm going to work on it yet. And I'll let you know what I come up with as you work on what you need to come up with. But the way it can hold us back is when we identify as something less. Maybe there's some limiting beliefs from before that previously or earlier in our life that we've still held on to, like that I can't achieve at that level, or whatever it might be. Those identities can hold us back. Now they can also drive us if it's, you identify as the as a breadwinner for your family, maybe, or that you've got to lift everybody up around you, that you identify as a person that's going to change the world in some magnificent way. Like all those things go into your identity, and then you get to look at how you're showing up each day as that person. So when I show up as disciplined, for example, well, if I'm a disciplined person, I'm going to put in the work each and every day. I'm not skipping days. I'm not taking days off. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to oversleep. I show up as I'm a healthy person. I'm going to eat the right foods. Or a great example is somebody that gets offered a cigarette and they're like, no, I'm trying to quit, versus no, I'm not a smoker. There's a transition to identifying as that person that's not a smoker, as opposed to somebody that's a smoker just trying to quit. Those are important distinctions as we move forward in our lives and identifies who we want to be. One of my favorite lines is that I like to use that, a goal is a place to come from, not a place to get to. Because when we show up as that person every single day, we're going to get the results we want. So we stop and think, okay, the person that's already had all those things that you're dreaming of, all the goals you're trying to hit, we show up every single day as that person right now. Those goals are going to be a byproduct of the actions you're taking every single day. And that's what we want it to be. We don't want it to be about getting there. We want it to be about the journey. When we show up as that person, we show up as the person we're identifying as, those goals become automatic. Another thing we can do, because sometimes like, okay, what if I can't show up as that? What if I'm struggling with that? We can step into our alter ego. There's a great book on it as well. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, and I'm also going to try to include some other notes in here. So if you want further study on some of this stuff, look further deeper into it, you can do that. But talk about stepping into your alter ego, like the Kobe Bryant and the Mamba mentality, or Beyonce. She had her Sasha Fierce, I believe it was. People have other names that they can step into, other personas they can step into, and that can be something I can tell you know exactly how to be that. You can create that alter ego to step into. So when you're ready to go into a meeting, you're ready to start a competition, when you're stepping up in you know, as a parent even, like these are things we can step into. Sometimes they can be represented by putting on a certain shirt even, or you know, in the book, The Alter Ego Effect, talk about, you know, actually, you know, this person that actually stood in Oprah's shoes. So when they needed the confidence, they would just literally go, they bought a pair of shoes that had been Oprah's, and they would stand in them, like, and they'd give them that feeling. So we have these things that we can step into, finding ways to, like, this is how we're showing up in this moment. We create this alter ego because this is how we want to show up. Because we can control that alter ego. It's like that can be shaped to our liking. So for this week, I'm going to work on my alter ego. I'm going to work on my identity, actually, and maybe an alter ego. I encourage you to do the same. Find where you want it, where you can use it, who you identify as, and how that's going to shape your life. So step into it. I'm going to get on my long run here. Hopefully I'm going to get 9 miles done. And let's keep doing the work. Keep stacking those days. All right. Just finished my run. Wanted to get that done in 1:45. I was adding 15 minutes to my run each, well, from last week. Also mentioned I want to get 9 miles, so I did hit that. A little over 1:45, but that's good. I really am supposed to be going for time anyway. Still trying to catch up to where I'm supposed to be. I should have been at 2 hours, but easing into it a little bit more. But next week's also 2 hours, so I'll do that next week. So I'll be hopefully caught up and can keep progressing from there. One thing I want to check back in on that I said at the beginning. One thing about high performance is that we ought to check in with how we're actually doing. And I said I was still putting in the work. And yes, I've worked out every single day. But did I do as well as I could have last week? Past week? No, I haven't. I should have had more runs, better runs. But I gave myself excuses, let myself off the hook. And that's where high performance comes in. We got to be disciplined and calling ourselves out on that when we do that. One other thing I wanted to check in on was, we were talking at the beginning about our identity. And one thing nice about these long runs is I get to think about what I said and kind of go through it in my head. And, you know, it's one thing to say, like, I'm getting into this running and everything, where I've been working out every day already. Okay, so what if you haven't been working out? That's where starting with these small habits can be huge. You know, whether it's just going to the gym for 5 minutes. I mean, when I was getting back to working out, I just made myself, like, do these circuits. So I was working out 15, 20 minutes until I was finally just like, okay, if you're doing this every day, do the real workout, right? And I got myself back into it. You know, so if you're not doing anything, start with something small. It's going to help on a neurological level, like reprogramming your brain to be like, this is what I do. This is a habit. So lock in on the small habits. You don't have to jump in, all in, doing an hour workout, going for 9-mile runs. Do something small. Get yourself in the habit of doing it and make it so that's a normal thing. Because what it is, like when we're disciplined, that does drain us. Putting self-disciplining ourselves can drain us. But, you know, things that are habits, like brushing your teeth, something you do every day, you don't even think about it. Like, those don't drain us. So we want to make these a habit to where it's like Dan Martell. I was listening to him the other day talking about how, you know, working out every day is so automatic. It's like, you know, it'd be weird not to. Just like every day he puts his pants on. If he didn't put pants on, it'd be weird. That's what a workout is for him. And that's what we want to get to. Because then it's not about discipline anymore. It's just something we do. So anyway, hope that helps. Like I said before, I'm going to put some more resources in the show notes. So check out that if you want to dig deeper on any of these things. A lot of good information is going to be there. I'm going to make it calling myself out. I'm going to make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. You do the same thing. Check in with yourself. Keep putting in the work. If you don't do the work, call yourself out. Look at the ways you can do better. And let's get better each day. Let's improve upon it. Let's make this week a good week. Keep stacking the days. Let's get after it. Talk to you soon.